Well, this is my first official video. This is not what I intended it to be, but I wanted to make it before the Justice League movie ended up coming out. Anyways, um, but don't look at this video thinking that it will be a reflection necessarily of the future of my channel. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, the thing I want to talk about in this video is the dceu and the Flash. And when did people get so lazy and basically have to know exactly what's happening, every detail, right now, instead of not know and then find out in time? If none of that makes sense to you, I'll explain. Basically, people were confused when the Flash ran back into the past to basically bring a message to Bruce Wayne. And instead of people just being like, what's happening? And then, oh, I don't know, but I'll find out. People were upset and hold that against DC. And it's so ridiculous because it's like, not only will it be revealed in time, and you should know that, but in the meantime, it's okay to not know. But even if you're not comfortable not knowing, if you have a knowledge of comic books, in this case DC, you can figure out what's happening. Um, or maybe I just have an abstract mind. That's probably part of it too. But I will reveal the secret to you. Sit at my knee, young one. All right. So basically, off the top of my head from recollection, Flash snaps into like the Batcave saying Lois is the key. Ends up uh and then says, "Am I too soon? I'm too soon. You were right about him. You were always right about him. Find us, Bruce." So Flash is going back to bring a specific message to Bruce Wayne, realizes he went to the wrong time period. That's why he says, "Oh, am I too soon?" The message being Lois is the key. We don't know exactly what that means, but maybe it's an integral part of Superman's resurrection. Spoiler alert, Superman is dead. Anyways, he realizes that he came to the wrong time period with this uh, desperate message that's no longer relevant because he's not talking to the right Bruce Wayne in the right time period. So he switches gears really quick after he realizes, oh, I'm too soon, and he has to ensure that his past and Bruce's future comes to pass. So basically, he's trying to make sure Bruce Wayne ends up fighting Superman and Superman ends up dying. Because in that whole process, Batman, it all leads up to Batman uh, realizing that something, something ominous is coming, and the metahumans that he saw on Lex Luthor's file might be useful and be found. Alright, so to sum it up, Flash goes into the past with a message, realizes he goes too far into the past, so that message is no longer relevant. So he has to make sure everything plays out the way he remembers it and the way it's supposed to play out, which is Superman dying and Batman finding and forming the Justice League. Because if things played out differently, Superman kills Batman kills Superman. Superman's still dead, but then Doomsday comes out. Uh, Potentially Wonder Woman and Batman can't even save them, and uh, the future of the Earth and everything else is much different than uh, things working out for the best. Or, um, dang, I just lost my own train of thought. But yeah, Superman gets killed by Batman or whatever else, however it plays out, and then Batman never even finds out that Darkseid and Apocalypse forces were summoned, and everybody gets surprised. So basically, Flash is making sure everything lines up. It's like, oh shoot, I'm too soon. Well, the least I can do right now is make sure everything happens the way it's supposed to happen up into my current point, which is your future. So he's lying to Bruce and saying, you're right about Superman, which obviously we find out he was not right about Superman, and find us. So he's saying two things: fight Superman, because Superman is gonna have to die, unfortunately, but that will lead to you finding us, and you finding us will lead to us protecting the Earth from this alien threat. So, if you guys didn't understand it and you were frustrated and annoyed, fuck you. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. But but seriously, if you didn't understand it and you were frustrated, don't let that be uh, an excuse to be upset. Put on your thinking caps and figure it out, or enjoy the mystery and wait for the answer, because obviously you'll get the answer. I equate it to Star Wars. Back in the 70s, before Star Wars Mania, when there was just Star Wars and it wasn't even called A New Hope, it jumped right into the story midstream. Nobody knew what the hell the Force was, the dark side, any of that stuff. And people were okay with that. The whole mythos had not even been established yet. The reveals of Leia and Luke being siblings, who uh, the parentage was, any of that stuff. And now looking back at it, you should realize, in actuality, they started in the middle of the story. They started with episode 4 out of what ended up being 6, and now there's 8. But it started right in the middle, and people were invested and uh, went along with the story. Apply that to your movie going experience now. You don't, just because these are characters you know, that doesn't mean you know what's going to happen to them. It's not a direct adaptation of a particular comic story. No, it's just using a familiar character you know and putting them in this current or new story. It's just like a current issue of a comic book. You don't know what's going to happen in the next issue or at the end of the comic book. It's a familiar character, but you don't know what's going to happen. It's not telling a specific story, like Civil War, quote unquote, or the Infinity Gauntlet, which is actually not faithful to the source material. It's just borrowing the name and kind of riding off the momentum of the name, but has absolutely nothing to do with the story. Anyways, I said my piece. Hopefully you understood. And if you didn't understand, maybe I'll make another video about this. Maybe I won't. But you can message me in the comment section and I'll very likely reply, especially since I don't have a fan base. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.